Bitcoin has exceeded the fair value on the stock to flow model. So we're going to be talking about why that matters and why you should be paying attention to it. If you're new to the channel, first off, welcome. I talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, personal finance and investing, and business and entrepreneurship. Though now that we're entering a Bitcoin bull run, I think I'm going to be focusing mostly on crypto for this channel for the next year or so. So if any of that interests you, do consider subscribing. And if you get value from this video, please do smash that like button. So let's jump right in. So this is the stock to flow model. And this red line basically shows what the fair value of Bitcoin should be based on how much new Bitcoin is being created to how much demand there is. So as you can see, the actual value of Bitcoin is shown here in the dots, and it pretty closely follows the stock to flow fair value model. However, typically once we have halving events, which we had last spring, you see this red line start to go up. The actual value of Bitcoin does often lag the fair value before overshooting it. That is what we experienced during the last bull run. And then we had this consolidation phase. And now after the halving event, we are starting to climb again. But we recently, as you can see here, exceeded the fair value on the stock to flow model. And so the fair value as of today, which is January 5th, is 31,258. And if we go over to CoinGecko, we can see that Bitcoin today is 32,159. So we are over that value. And that's important to know because that means we are starting to look at this bull run as being a little bit more like the 2013 run as opposed to the 2017 run, which is the one everyone was considering. So here in 2017, we didn't really exceed that level until after it kind of plateaued, which for us this year would be up here around the 85K level. And that's when we overshot it by quite a bit. Here you might say we are almost there, but we were really kind of far. The highest point, or closest point I should say, was 1,134, and that same day the fair value was $1,372 per Bitcoin. So this again is looking much more like the previous bull market to that one, in which we saw Bitcoin massively overshooting the fair value, as you see here, and then going way up and then dropping back quite a bit more without actually falling and the bull market being over. So this is important because a lot of people think, if we go over to our cycle repeat chart, that we are going to be looking at a major run up like we did last time and then just a major pullback and no second run up. But if Bitcoin doesn't have a pullback soon and drop below this 32K and the fair value on the stock to flow model, we could probably expect to see something more like we saw in 2013, where we did have a tremendous growth up to all-time highs, which in that situation was about 200, and then falling back down for quite a bit of time. So we reached that 200 peak here on April 19th, and then we didn't pass it again until almost October. So you had like a 6-month difference of price where it looked like Bitcoin was consolidating and just kind of not rising or anything. And then you ended up going up again to the actual peak for that bull run of $1,220 per coin, which is quite a bit more than that initial pump up to $205. So here, or 230. So it also depends on what chart you look at, because some exchanges had different prices for Bitcoin, especially whenever Bitcoin's price fluctuates so volatilely. It's difficult for you to kind of peg a specific number, which is also why it's hard to sell at the top, because the exchange you're trading on might not actually be pricing Bitcoin the same as the other exchanges. That this is a small difference though, and isn't much to worry about. So now that you have some idea of what the Bitcoin bull run might be doing, you can kind of tell that this could also be a warning flag that if we don't see this level lower soon, we might see something much more like we saw in 2013, where Bitcoin kind of went up here and then it would consolidate down and then skyrocket again after that. So if that happens, we probably could expect to see quite a bit of a pullback. As you could see here, it was 205 all the way down to 80 something, which is more than a 50% drop, like a 60% drop even. So do be prepared if you are investing in Bitcoin right now for potential pullbacks of up to 60%, just so that you're mentally aware. Because if you're not prepared and you pull up your portfolio one day and you see that you've lost 50%, that could be a trigger warning for you to sell. And if you had done that back here, you would have sold at the bottom, which would make you miss out on all these gains, which is more than a 10x from 80 bucks up to 1.2 thousand. And this kind of stuff has happened before in Bitcoin. As you, let's see if we can pull it up. This happened during the coronavirus pandemic, actually. If I can pull this up, as you can see over here, the value of Bitcoin dropped from 7K to 4.9K. So it was 7.9 to 4.9, which is a 3K drop over a literal 1 day time period from the 11th to the 12th. So this is, while a bummer, to be expected with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, because the volatility is still there. Now, as Bitcoin's market cap continues to grow, which we can see over here on CoinGecko, we're at just under $600 billion market cap. As this continues to grow, it'll be more and more difficult for massive price swings to happen. And as more and more institutions start getting involved in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, they're also going to cause the price fluctuations to drop quite a bit, because there's going to be so much more money, which means there's going to be so much more money needed to change the price. But this is something you should keep in mind investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, is that now that we have exceeded the fair value on the stock to flow chart, we could be looking at a bull run much more like 2013, where we will reach a peak maybe sometime here in spring and then consolidate, and we would just fall maybe up to 50% and then stay around that level for another up to 6 months like last time before continuing our climb. So this is just something I wanted to keep you in the loop about, make you aware of, because the fair value has been below the actual value of Bitcoin for several days now, or 3 days in. And it looks like we may be dropping back below, so this would be nothing to worry about. But you should be aware, if Bitcoin does continue to climb at the near parabolic rates that we have seen as of late, it could be a warning sign that we are reaching a potential pullback that will be much further and much harder than anyone was expecting. Over here on Cycle Repeat, you can even see they are predicting a pullback soon, probably by the end of January. Yeah, January 30th, January 29th, of down to 25K. And most people are predicting that the fair value of Bitcoin at the end of this bull cycle should be between 1 and 400,000. And based on how far and how quickly we've risen, the cycle repeat model is showing over $500,000 per Bitcoin, which is quite a bit above most experts' estimates. So this is another warning sign that we may be growing at a rate that is too fast and not necessarily sustainable. So do keep these things in mind if you are investing in Bitcoin. The best way to invest, if you choose to do so, I think, is through dollar cost averaging, where you buy a little bit each week or each month. So that way, if the price does go up, you at least bought some at that lower price. And if the price does tank, as we saw back in 2013, you would not have bought everything at that peak and lost most of your value there. So that's pretty much it for this video. Just wanted to hop on, give you a quick rundown of that. I do post regularly on YouTube Shorts and on TikTok of Bitcoin updates. So keep on checking out those. I recently posted a video on how to read Google Trends and how to use that to see where the top for Bitcoin will likely be. And that's no guarantee. That's just a strategy that a lot of people use, that I personally use, that I think could be helpful to you. I make these videos so that as many everyday people can benefit from Bitcoin as possible, because I don't want to see all of the money go to big Wall Street banks and major financial institutions, kind of like what happened in 2008 when they bailed them out, but not the everyday people. So hopefully you found some value from this and you found useful information or you learned something. If you did get value, please do consider smashing the like button. It would help out my channel and is an entirely free way to support me continuing to bring crypto content to you for free. And also smash that subscribe button. If you hit subscribe, hit the bell buttons, notifications, and select all. This way you will be alerted as soon as I post a new video about Bitcoin, which could be important time-sensitive content. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you tomorrow.